300, 6% of 300, and 15% of 300. This is what it should have been. What do you think? Is that close enough?
Little off.
The highest category is definitely computer software, right? Most people are doing their taxes by computer software. And then next is accountant for both. Next is tax preparation services. Difference between, do you guys know the difference between an accountant and a tax preparation service?
Accountant is a singular duty,
Is the tax preparation service like H&R Block?
Mm-hmm.
and H&R Block is a team of duties.
Yes and no. Usually somebody handling your taxes is just one person, even if it's an H&R Block. But accountant usually means your personal accountant, like they're doing like your accounting for your business, so it makes sense that they would do the taxes for your business. Like, it's almost usually somebody you employ, where H&R Block is a place that you would go just for this. That make sense? Okay, all right, going to the other side.
Is H&R Block people a bunch of accountants?
Yes.
Okay.
And tax specialists, some of them are accountants, some of them are not. You only have to be an accountant to do some part of the taxes, some parts you don't need to be that at all. Like, for example, I bet you they have to keep a very detailed computer system, filing system for clients that they have and expected clients and so on, right? Like, they have to keep track of all of the stuff they did. And to file stuff and to be great at organization, you do not have to have a degree in accounting. But if you want to prepare somebody's taxes, then yes, you do have to have a degree in accounting. Which, by the way, that's kind of a nice career choice. All right, I'm not going to, well, maybe I will. Okay. Here's our steps. We're going to verify that the observed frequencies that were obtained from a random sample, each expected frequency is at least 5. Each expected frequency is at least 5. That's important. Identify the claim, state the null and alternative hypothesis. We got level of significance, degree of freedom. In this case, the degree of freedom is k minus 1, where k is how many options you have. I'm pretty sure, let me make sure though. Yeah. So I'm going to write k is how many options there are. This is the table on A19, which I will make you a photocopy of after this recording is done. The chi-squared statistic, you can see that that's kind of a wavy x, is the summation of all the observed minus the expected squares over the expected. You accept or reject the null and then interpret it in context. All right, I definitely didn't write anything that I was supposed to on here, so we're going to have to. Okay, a retail trade. Where do I have you? Oh, this is exactly what we did before, because they were on the previous page. So let me just write it out really quick. So this is the tax preparation, the exact same thing that was on the last page. So we're going to write out observed and expected frequencies. Okay, so the first one was what, an accountant? Accountant, and we observed 61. Yep. We observed 61, but we expected, I'm going to have to keep flipping back and forth, we expected 72. That's what we just calculated. Next one's by hand. On this one, we expected, or we got 42, but we expected 60. Next up is by computer. And that was 112 and 105. Friend or family was 29 and 18. And then finally, tax prep service was 56 and 45. Okay. Null and alternative. The null is that they match, that they're equal to each other. And the H sub A is that they don't match. This is a different graph than anything you've seen. It doesn't look like a bell curve at all. It looks like this. Kind of looks like it's skewed right, or right-tailed. And a chi-square graph always looks like that. Over here is chi-squared 0, not in the center, but right here. And then the more varied something is the further it pushes out. So this is like lots of variation this way. Chi-squared tests are also called variance tests. So this is varying compared to what the results should be.
So is this like, again, when we did intro to stats and you were like, you're not gonna need sigma squared yet.
Yeah.
But this is where that comes.
Yeah, this is, by the way, chi-squared, capital. Okay, lots of variation. All of these are all going to be right tests, right-tailed tests, because over here is the null. The null is here. It's like, okay, they're close enough, they're equal enough, and over here is like, nope, they're varying too much. Okay, what's our degree of freedom? It's how many categories we have minus 1.
4.
So 4. And it says in this problem we're doing alpha equals 0.01. Okay, so I am going to flip to a 19 in the back of my book. So you're going to look. There are two-tailed tests for chi-squared, but not in this statistics course. So on all of these, it's going to be a right-tailed test. So we're going to 4, and then it just says what the alpha is at the very top. So that would be 0.01, which is, I got 13.277. Did you guys get the same thing? All of these are positive too. So it's not like on the left side it's negative and on the right side it's positive. It goes from 0 on the left all the way to positives. Was it 13.277?
Yeah.
Sorry. Natalie is the best at that because she's not going to call me out for it, but her face is going to be filled with confusion for just a second. And then I'm like,